Hey everybody, Brian with Easy Retriever Training, and today we're going to talk about something really important. We're going to talk about keeping your dog safe and quiet while you have them staked out in the yard. Whether you've got one of the big long zip lines that lets them run back and forth, or you've got them on a 10-foot cord, leash or chain, there's nothing more annoying than a dog that sits and barks and barks and barks, and there's nothing more tragic than coming home to find out that your dog has injured himself with the chain or the cord, or whatever it is that they're tied up to. So, let's get to the video. Okay, so like I was saying, there's nothing more annoying than a dog that sits out in your yard and does this all day long. On the flip side, there's nothing more tragic than going out and finding that our dog has hurt themselves or worse because we didn't take some simple but necessary precautions while our dogs are staked out. Before we get to the video though, if you haven't already and you're interested in these kinds of videos, or you just want to watch how I get Odin ready for hunt tests and for shed hunting and just simple obedience around the house, make sure you click the subscribe button and ring the little bell so every time I send out a new video, you get notified and you can follow along in Odin's journey. All right, so in trying to get your dog to be quiet, one of the first things you're going to, first thing you got to do is just put him on the leash and know that he's going to start barking. In the beginning though, when Odin first got on there, what he started doing was kind of testing the limits, figuring out how far he could go with the leash, what was kind of in the area. At one point he just went over and kind of laid down, and this was the first 5 or 10 minutes on the leash. And I thought, man, maybe I've got the perfect dog. And then the barking began. This is totally normal. In fact, you really want your dog to start barking sooner rather than later so that you can get into the training part of it. But remember and keep in mind, with positive training, the idea is to reinforce the behavior we want and ignore the behavior that we don't want. And so at one point I gave the quiet command, and then I just waited for him to start being quiet. And you'll notice I've got a timer up here in the corner. This was the first time after he started barking that he remained quiet. And you want him to go as long as you can. Pay close attention to him, and you'll notice with his body language when he's about to start barking again, and you want to short circuit that. Take a step towards the dog when you see that he's about to start barking, and that will short circuit the bark, and then you can reward him for not barking. Again, the idea is to reward the behavior you want. So, stay close. Start your timer again. Last time we went just about 20 seconds or so. And so watch the dog's behavior. Wait for it. And you want to get it to go a little bit longer than last time, but don't go so long that he starts barking again and you have a failure. You want to set your dog up for success. And so this time we made it to about 25 seconds. And you saw his jaws just kind of go forward a little bit. As soon as I saw that, or kind of start to open, as soon as I saw that, I took a step towards him. It short-circuited the bark. He got rewarded for being quiet. We've got a success, and now we can build on that. I'll speed this one up so that we don't have to relive the whole day in real time. But the idea is, again, you just want this to go a little bit longer, until you're building on multiple, 2 or 3 minute periods. This time we got it to go 1:25, and so we just kept going. We'll just start this again. The timer, notice he's a little bit more relaxed. Part of that's because he knows that I'm aware of him. Part of that, he doesn't feel all abandoned. He can look right over. I'm right there with him. And again, I'm trying to get this to go as long as we can. I actually am really, really excited. Odin did a fantastic job for the first time ever being here. This time we got it to go just over 2.5 minutes, and I rewarded that behavior. Now, the mistake that we might make sometimes is we might think that, hey, our dog's got this. But in all reality, this was a couple days later. This was actually just this morning. And I took Odin out, and you can see he's vocalizing. He's really being quite annoying and loud. Part of that might be the time of the day. It's first thing. We've just finished our lessons for the day. But he's kind of being a noisy little turd. Notice I'm completely just ignoring it. This is a great time to take out whatever novel you're reading, or if you like to do your scripture study in the morning, or if you just want to meditate and you can think past the dog's barking. Completely ignore him while he's vocalizing. and then keep track and just, you know, kind of keep mental note of when he's been quiet for a period of time. Then make sure you've got some treats or rewards there that you can go and reward him. Notice Odin goes for almost a minute and a half without me giving any commands or anything. This is a huge success. The other thing I would say is get your family involved. My little girl loves participating in Odin's training sessions. The more people you have involved, the better. All right, so there's my kind of my process. I'm going to now do that with Odin. I was actually out with Odin for 44 minutes this morning of footage time. I didn't think you wanted to watch all of that, and so I just kind of showed you the short and sweet condensed version. But basically, wanted you to see how the process works. Now let's talk about the 4 rules to keeping our dogs safe. Rule number 1 is to make sure that you have the right length of a cord. You'll notice that the first time I put Odin on the cord yesterday or 2 days ago, the cord was way too long. I did this on purpose. I knew it was going to be that way. Nevertheless, let me just show you some of the things that happened. And I got in a little bit of trouble for this because within moments, Odin had wrapped himself around some of my wife's favorite plants in the backyard. Notice that there's flowers on the ground instead of on the bushes. And not only that, that once Odin, you know, I got Odin out of that mess, he immediately went back and got himself in another jam and tried killing our plants. So what you want to do, put your corkscrew where you want it to go, get a general idea of where, of how long the cord is, and make sure that he's not going to get tangled up on anything. So tip number 2 then, it has to do with water and food and some form of making sure that your dog can cool off. So in the video, you'll notice that I moved I like to have a swimming pool out there and put that in the shade. That way, if the dog gets hot, even in the shade, he can kind of control his temperature, and he gets to decide, you know, when to cool off and how to cool off. I think this is one of the fastest ways to keep a dog cool. If you haven't already, please check out our video on ways to keep a Labrador cool in the summertime. You can click just right up here. But I think this is important. It's also important to make sure that the shade's not going to move away from the food and the water or the swimming pool. All right, tip number 3 has to do with, you know, how long you leave your dog out there. I mentioned in the last tip that you don't want the shade to move away from the swimming pool or whatever you've got that's gonna, you know, allow your dog to be cool, especially if you're putting food and water out there. I don't think you should ever put your dog unattended out on a leash for any more than, you know, whatever period of time that is. Me personally, I don't like leaving him out there for more than 30 minutes unattended, and I typically like to have him out on a stake when I'm going to be in and out of the backyard and I can keep an eye on him. So if I'm barbecuing or if we've got friends over, this is the time that I want to be able to put my dog out on a leash, have him be quiet, have him be safe, and I'm there to monitor and make sure that nothing, if anything does go wrong, I can remedy the situation really quick before something terrible happens. All right, and tip number 4, especially if you've got Labradors, Golden Retrievers, or other dogs that like to use their mouths and chew, you've got to make sure that you get the right kind of a leash. A corded leash or anything that your dog's going to be able to chew through is not going to work. It didn't take Odin even 5 minutes before tugging against the leash. He figured out that was there and started chewing on various portions of the leash up and down. So I like the vinyl coated kind of metal wire leash. It's sturdy enough that it's going to keep him in check, but it's also light enough that it's not going to be a major chore for him packing it around the yard. Hey everybody, there's my 4 rules for keeping your dog safe when they're tied out in the yard. Number 1, make sure you've got a leash that's the right length. Number 2, make sure that you've got a way for your dog to cool off. Some kind of water, whether that's a big pool like I use, or even at least a big bowl that they can drink. And make sure it's in the shade and that the shade's not going to, you know, abandon the water supply. Number 3, make sure that you're not leaving your dog out there all day long unattended. Make sure that you're in and out of the yard and that your dog can see you and that he knows that he's not going to be abandoned. And number 4, make sure that you've got a leash of the right material. If you've got a dog that chews and your leash can be chewed through, your dog's going to chew through it, and then you're not going to have a leash and your dog's not going to be tied out. So there's my 4 rules. If you haven't, again, please subscribe. It helps keep my motivation up, helps keep me going, keeps me motivated to keep these videos coming out. So thanks. Have a great day. Hey everybody, Brian with Easy Retriever Training, and I just want to say thank you again for watching the video. If you have an idea or something that you've done in the past with your dog, to keep them quiet or to keep them safe while they're tied out in the yard, and I didn't cover it in the video, please leave me a comment and let me know what I've left out below. I don't know everything when it comes to training dogs, and it's great when we get a community together and we start building on each other's ideas. So if you've got an idea or there's something that you've been successful with, let me know down in the comments below. Also, if you haven't already subscribed, please click the subscribe button whether you're looking for training ideas or whether you're just interested in watching how I build my bond and build my relationship with my dogs through my training practice. Click the subscribe button and don't miss any videos as we send them out. Thanks for watching.